Alright, this video is going to talk about the subjunctive mood in Spanish, how to use it and what it means. So on our guided note sheet you can take notes on this for chapter 3. Okay, the subjunctive mood, we've learned basically two moods up until now. The indicative mood is what you have done up through Spanish 1. It's the regular present tense. It speaks of what is fact, what is happening, what we have done, what we did yesterday, what we used to do when we were kids. That's all considered the indicative mood. In fact, if you think about it, this guy is the face of the indicative mood. He's very businesslike. He's straight, direct, fact-based. He tells it like it is. There's no strange meaning in there. Things are very businesslike. There's no room for feelings or doubt or hypothesis or recommendation. He is the face of the indicative. However, when we talk about the subjunctive, we look at this guy. He is the face of the subjunctive. He's the guy who lives on feelings and emotions, can be a little wishy-washy, talking about what we want others to do. So that idea of commands, okay? Hypothesis, explaining what if something happened, yeah? Expressing our doubts, expressing our hopes. This guy is the picture of what the subjunctive is all about. And a really wonderful way to remember how we use the subjunctive is with a great mnemonic. It's called weirdo, okay? And we can remember the subjunctive by looking at the face of the weirdo. And here's the weirdo. What does weirdo mean? Well, the W in weirdo simply, if we think about it, is wishes or desires, okay? What we want someone else to do, okay? Yo quiero que tú hagas esto, okay? The E in weirdo is emotions, okay? It's good that, it's bad that, it's sad that, I am happy that something has happened. I is for impersonal expressions. Now some of these can overlap a little bit. When I just said it's good that, it's bad that, those are impersonal expressions as well. Impersonal means that there's no person out in front. There's no subject person. It is important that. It is good or bad that. It is sad that. It is interesting that. S is the the impersonal, okay? Beginning of anything impersonal because there's no subject, all right? Then we have R. Weirdo has the R. R is for reactions or recommendations, okay? When you're recommending that somebody does something. Yo recomiendo que tú hagas más ejercicio. I recommend that you do more exercise. Or the doctor recommends or suggests that you eat better, okay? Those are examples of reactions or recommendations. D is doubts, or something that does not exist, okay? When you say doubt, you're going to say, I doubt that it's a good idea, or I doubt that you should do something. Something that does not exist, we will get into in a future chapter. And finally, O is ojalá. When you're talking about your hopes, espero que, or ojalá que. Ojalá comes actually from what we believe is the Arabic, which is to Allah, okay? We hope to Allah, from the Moorish invasion of Spain from so long ago. And that has translated into a very common phrase used all throughout Latin America as well. Ojalá que tú estés bien. I hope that you are well, using estar then in the subjunctive. Now, how do we create the subjunctive correctly? You use one of the weirdo phrases. Weirdo is what we had before, plus the word que. You probably heard me say que, like ojalá que, or recomiendo que, plus the next verb in the subjunctive. Now, there are some requirements that you must think about. Before the que, the verb in the weirdo phrase will always be indicative because you're indicating what you recommend or what someone recommends or what someone feels. It's very indicative, okay? However, after the que, the verb will be in the subjunctive because that is what you are expressing that you wish someone would do or that you hope someone does. You're imposing your wishes or your hopes or your doubts over somebody else. Now there will be a change of subject after the K. I hope that you do well is very different than I hope I do well. I hope I do well is not going to be subjunctive, okay? I hope you do well is subjunctive because you're expressing your hopes over somebody else. The doctor recommends that Juan changes his diet. The doctor is the subject before the K in the weirdo phrase. Okay, the doctor recommends. Then you have the K, that. Juan changes his diet. Juan is the subject after the K. Juan changes his diet is yet, it could be its own sentence. But because the doctor is imposing his wishes over Juan, therefore Juan changes his diet must be in the subjunctive. And how do we change things into the subjunctive? The same thing we have done before with the mandatos. We go to the yo and flip-flop. AR verbs go to ER, IR. IR verbs go to AR endings. So, trigger phrases associated with weirdo. In chapter 3, we're mainly looking at E, I, R, and O. Not so much the W and not so much the D. Okay, so here are some of the trigger phrases, and let's go over some of these together. All right, first of all, es bueno, malo que, or es importante que. Es bueno que tú tengas una dieta saludable. It's good that you have a healthy diet. It's good that, here's your trigger phrase with the K, and then a change of subject because it's impersonal. There's no subject here, and then it changes to a to subject here. Tengas is the subjunctive form of the verb tener. Es malo que tu amigo coma comida basura. It's bad that your friend eats junk food. Coma comes from the verb comer. Okay? Next, es importante que nosotros hagamos mucho ejercicio. It's important that we do a lot of exercise. Okay, here's the es importante que nosotros, change of subject. Hacer changes to hagamos. Estar feliz, estar triste, me alegro de que. These are examples of emotion phrases, okay? I am happy that you are very healthy. Me estoy feliz que tú seas muy saludable. Seas comes from the verb ser in the subjunctive, okay? Estoy triste que, again, this is all before the K. I am sad that, I'm indicating my sadness. Then, change of subject after the K. Tú no tengas una rutina de ejercicio. I'm sad that you do not have an exercise routine. I am happy that. Me alegro de que. Me alegro de que is I'm happy that. You do treadmill every day. Tú hagas cinta cada día. Next, we have recommendations and suggestions. Yo recomiendo que establezcas una rutina de ejercicio diario. I recommend that you establish an daily exercise routine. Okay? Establecer is a CER verb. So it goes kind of like conocer to yo conozco, yo establezco. Remember, you go yo and then flip-flop. Go yo, then flip-flop. El médico sugiere que, the doctor suggests that, sugiere que you don't eat so much junk food. He suggests that you don't eat, no comas tanto comida basura. ¿Quieres que yo vaya al gimnasio contigo? Do you want that I go to the gym with you? Do you want me to go to the gym with you? Is how you would say those do you want me to or I want you to is always going to be a subjunctive setup, and that's something that we say almost every day. Finally, an ojalá phrase, the o. Ojalá que podamos, from the verb poder, we can. Ojalá que podamos empezar un saludable año nuevo juntos. We can begin a healthy new year together. Okay? If you're going to use podamos, instead of using podamos to say that you can, ojalá que puedas. It would be a P-U-E-D-A-S. If it were just a tu, remember the poder will stem change, but it does not stem change in the nosotros form. So those are the basics on how to use the subjunctive in Spanish.